I'm Sherry Boston, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as your DeKalb County District Attorney. Today, I want to share an update on an issue of great concern in the city of Stonecrest and this municipal election cycle. On Tuesday, a DeKalb County grand jury indicted former Stonecrest Mayor Jason Lary on multiple felony charges related to his attempt to register to vote and qualify as a candidate for city council on the November 4th ballot. The charges against Lary include false registration, 2 counts of false swearing, and making false statements in connection with filing notice of candidacy or qualifying as a candidate. If found guilty on these charges, they carry a maximum penalty of 25 years in prison and more than $100,000 in fines. This case remains open and active, so I'm limited on the details I can provide, but I do want to give you a short summary of the facts as we know them today. In January of 2022, Jason Lary pleaded guilty in federal court to charges of wire fraud, federal program theft, and conspiracy in the connection to the theft of hundreds of thousands of dollars of COVID-19 relief funds issued to the city of Stonecrest while he served as mayor. In July of 2022, Lary was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Defendant Lary was released from federal custody in February of 2025 and began his probation. On August 14th of 2025, Lary registered to vote. As part of the voter registration application, registrants must swear that they are not serving a sentence for having been convicted of a felony involving moral turpitude. Days later, on August 18th, 2025, Lary filed paperwork to qualify to run for Stonecrest City Council District 5. As a part of the qualification paperwork, Defendant Lary signed a document affirming that he was not a convicted felon. Following formal challenges of his candidacy by 2 citizens, the DeKalb Board of Registration and Elections took up the issue during their regular meeting on September 10th of 2025. Based on evidence presented in that meeting, the board voted unanimously to qualify Lary as a city council candidate and to remove him from the voter rolls. The Office of the DeKalb County District Attorney immediately opened an investigation into Lary's actions. Following his indictment Tuesday, my office also secured a grand jury arrest warrant for his arrest. My team has been in touch with Lary's attorney, who notified us that his client will turn himself in to the DeKalb County Jail today. We have consented to a bond of $5,000. The next step is that Defendant Lary will be scheduled for an arraignment on these charges. I want to emphasize that under Georgia law, it is possible for convicted felons to have their voting rights restored. However, they must have completed their entire sentence, including probation. And anyone convicted of a felony must wait 10 years after the completion of their sentence to qualify to run for office in our state. Thank you for being here, and I will now open up the floor for a few questions. Yes.
Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm with DeKalb. I have 2 questions for you. I guess my first one, I know you said following the elections board meeting, you all opened that, started an investigation. How did that come about? Was that a request from the elections board? Was that just something that you guys were like, hey, let's look into this?
Well, the challenge at the Board of Elections was covered extensively by the media, so I don't think anybody could have missed what was happening.
Yeah, it was a long one.
Yes.
I guess my second question for you, I don't know if this question for you, but I'm going to throw it out there. Because since I was at the elections board meeting, I think questions kind of came about of what is the city's role in the qualifying process? At what point, should they have kind of stepped in to be hey, actually, we don't think you can qualify?
Well, it's certainly not our role, but under the law, it's the Board of Elections would be the final, that's the process of challenging, as you saw here. And of course, they are not the final arbiters. There is an appellate process that belongs to that. So generally, cities are not responsible for enforcing those types of laws, as they are state laws.
His attorney Haas said Chase Hall with 11 Alive. To be clear, he has not turned himself in, correct, as of yet?
It is 2:36. I'm under the impression that his lawyer said he'd be turning himself in between 2 and 4 today, so I can't speak to if that's happened already in the last few minutes.
I don't know if you can answer this. I'm here for Fox 5 News, but would you consider this bold? I mean, he knew he wasn't supposed to do it. He checked all of those things. Would you consider this a bold move?
I think it's pretty bold for any elected official that has been convicted recently of a felony that was covered extensively by the media, and it's no secret to anyone in the DeKalb County community to, once being released from federal prison, the first thing they decide to do is to run for office. It's very bold. Taisha.
Hi, in Boston. I sat down with Jason Lary when he decided to run again, and I was shocked that he decided to run. Is it like, I guess, is it possible that it could have been a mistake? Like, is it a box that you check? Is it like a paragraph that he has to write? I just never tried to run for office. I don't know.
I have run for office several times, and I can tell you I have read every box that I've been asked to check and affirm. This is just one of many things that you are swearing under oath and signing your name to under penalty of perjury and all criminal charges, that everything you're signing is true. We as elected officials have a responsibility to make sure we're being honest and truthful with the community that we're asking to vote us into office. I don't think there's any misunderstanding of what Mr. Lary was asked to sign.
I guess for me, my biggest question is who can really challenge this? He can say, well, I must have misread it. I mean, how likely is this to go to, a trial and him be found guilty of this? I mean, who can really attest besides himself?
Well, under the law, you are innocent until proven guilty. I have that burden of proof, and I believe we'll be able to make our case, which is why we're standing here with this indictment.
Was it public where he checked this box? Was he surrounded by people? Was he home alone at his desk? I mean, can you give us a little bit of insight of where he filled out this paperwork?
I can't tell you where you filled out the paperwork. I can just tell you as a candidate myself, when you turn in that paperwork, it is not done in the color of darkness. It's done in the light of day. And so you sign that paperwork, you submit your check, and you turn that in to a proper agency. And you tell them that everything is accurate from where you live to what you have or have not done in your past.
I've never been to prison, but I'm curious, is this something that would he have gone over with maybe a parole officer, probation officer, that he would have known that he was not supposed to do this when he was released?
Again, I can't speak to that, but the law is very clear. As a candidate, you have to make sure you meet all qualifications, including the ones that you have to affirm that you're not the holder of certain funds, that you are a certain age, that you live where you're supposed to live, and finally, that you are in fact not a convicted felon.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So I know he served some time in prison and then he got released earlier this year and was under supervised release. So would that be, I guess, like probation?
You are still under the supervised release, you're still under federal sentence. Just like in the state system, if you are released on parole or you are on probation, you are still considered to be under sentence until your sentence ends and you have your rights restored. You are still a convicted felon.
Okay, so he would, I guess, still be serving his sentence, essentially.
Correct.
Okay, but then once that's completed, he would have to wait, did you say 10 years before he could?
Well, there's two separate things here, right? So we have indicted Mr. Lary for registering to vote, right, as a convicted felon, and then separately registering to run as a candidate. As a candidate, there are rules in Georgia that say you have to be 10 years before you can run for office, which would be different than getting your rights restored to vote. So two different things.
Gotcha. But he would have to, like, be registered to vote in order to run for office, right? So, like, the two things would kind of have to happen simultaneously?
I would presume that you would want to vote for yourself, but you don't have to be able to vote for yourself. This is true. Yes.
Chelsea, the man is first. What should the public take away from this?
I think the public should take away from this that free and fair elections are really important. And most importantly, As residents, whether it's here in DeKalb County, in the state of Georgia, or in the United States of America, we expect our elected officials and people that are placing themselves up to be candidates to not only follow the rules, but to swear to tell the truth. And in this case, Mr. Lary did not do those things. And when you are going to not be truthful and trustful with the community, and it's a violation of a criminal law, that you will be held accountable.